Okay, welcome to this question where we're looking at 4 cosine squared minus 10 cosine minus 2 equals 0. All right, I'm going to bring this down. I'm just going to make it a c to make things quicker and easier. 4c squared minus 10c minus 6 equals 0. How are we going to handle that? Well, step one is we've got a factor. What does factor mean? It means the two parentheses where you think about FOIL. So I don't know how much you remember. Let me write that in. So FOIL, you write FOIL, and you're going to put two parentheses like this equals 0. And what the word FOIL, if you remember this from earlier math classes, stands for first, outer, inner, last. It's how things multiply, these two terms and these two terms, to go back to that. We've got to basically think that backwards now. That's not easy to do. So, yeah, so maybe it'd be helpful if I just showed one quick example. Remember how you multiply something like, well, you know how to multiply 2x times 3x minus 7, right? You just distribute and you get 6x squared minus, what's that, 14x, right? And now, do you remember how to multiply? Let me give some room here. Do you remember how to multiply 2x minus 4 times 3x minus 7? Same kind of thing. You take this first and go boom, boom, and you get 6x squared minus 4 to this guy went to both these two. He's done. And now the other guy's turn. This guy's going to go boom, boom, and you'll get minus 12x. Oh, wait, I messed up on. It should be 14x. Okay, right? Because see what happened there? The 2x went to 3x. That'd be 6x squared and 2x times 7, 14x. He's done. And now the minus 4, he's going to go there, minus 12x, and there, plus 28. And then these two in the middle can combine, and so we'll get 6x squared. These two in the middle make minus 26x, right? Minus 14x and minus 12x are like terms. You know, if the temperature drops 14 degrees, then 12 more, it's dropped 26 altogether, plus 28. So there we go. That's multiplying. We're going to need to do that backwards because we're starting right here, and we got to go back up to the parentheses, you see. And if you think about it, where did that stuff come from? It came from FOIL, meaning this guy came from the front times the front. The front of this parenthesis times the front of that parenthesis. First in this parenthesis times the first in that parenthesis, which is 6x squared, right? Okay, and then where did this guy come from? Last in this parenthesis times the last in that parenthesis, negative 4 times negative 7 plus 20. And where did the middle come from? Came from the O and the I. O meaning the two outer, 2x and minus 7 made minus 14. And the I meaning the two inner, 3 minus 4 times 3x, negative 12x, and then they combine to be this guy. All right. Having said all that, we got to think that backwards. That's what I'm doing here. I'm writing FOIL, and I got to think it all backwards. All right, here we go. So I'm thinking, all right, front times front to make front. What times what makes 4c squared? Well, we could do 2c and 2c, but couldn't we also do 4c and 1c? Yeah. And it might be that. We'll see. We just have to check. Okay, so got that. Now jump back here. Save this middle part for a bit. Go back here. Last in this parenthesis times last in this parenthesis to make 6. Don't worry about the minus. Just think about 6. How do you make 6? What times what 6? Well, 2 times 3. But couldn't it be 6 times 1? It totally could. How do you know which one it is? You just got to check. There's no shortcuts here. So now it's check. What do you mean check? Let's check it. So take this guy and go to both. This is where it gets tedious. Um, and then, so I'm taking this guy to both these two. Before c squared and 6. No pluses or minuses yet. Notice. We'll get that. Then this guy's turn. He'll go to both. 4c and 6. Now ask yourself, is there a way to make these middle two? See, the front matches the front and the back matches the back, except for the minus. Is there a way to get these middle two terms to somehow make the middle? Because remember, the middle two terms have to make the middle, O and I, right? Well, yeah, there is. I mean, what sign? Now we're going to put in signs. Negative and negative, right? If you lose $6, you lose $4, you lost $10. That's right. So now these signs always crisscross. This goes right here. This goes right here. But double check one last thing. negative 2 times negative 3 would actually be positive 6, right? And that's not correct. We're supposed to go back to negative 6, you see. Am I losing you? Right? That's not quite right by the signs. In order to get negative 10 in the middle, I had to get negative 6 and negative 4. That meant both negatives, but then negative 2 times negative 3, which is supposed to make the last, right? The last, and this parenthesis times the last, and that parenthesis is supposed to make the last. Two negatives make positives. That's not right. So having said all that, back it up. It didn't check out. So I'm going to say no go. Now, how far did we back up? What should we go back to? Well, what was the last decision we made? Instead of right here going 2, whoop, let me back that up. Instead of right here going 2 and 3, we could have done 6 and 1. So let's do that. Let's go back and make it 6 and 1 instead of 2 and 3. Now check it again. Boom, boom. What's that? 4c squared and 2c, right? This 2c, just multiply both of those. Now it's this guy's turn, right? It's always first to both, second to both. First to both, second to both. Okay, so now it's this guy's turn. Boom, boom. That'd be what? 12c and 6c times 1, 6. Now, can they do it? Yeah, they can. Can they make minus 10? I'm looking at the middle. I'm looking at these two. I'm always looking at the middle. Can they make the middle? Yeah. Minus 12 plus 2. That makes minus 10, right? If you gain $2 and lose 12, you lost 10. Now, the signs always crisscross. That goes there. That goes there. Tracking with me? Now, does that make minus 6 at the back? Yeah, it does. Minus 1 times plus 1. Sorry. Minus 6 times plus 1. Last in this parenthesis times last in that parenthesis. Last times last does indeed make minus 6. Check. It checks out correctly. It is right. So you see, I just basically foiled this and it went back to this guy, so it's right. Is that making sense? So this is all the check. So now this was the check right here. So we're going to jump down, take this. This is our actually factorization. It's going to be 2 cosine, is it x? What's our w? 2 cosine w minus 6 and 2 cosine w plus 1 equals 0. So we have factored it. That's the hard part for most people. You see what I did? I first tried 2 and 3, and I checked it with a foil, I got the middle to work, but the back term wasn't coming out negative 6. It just wasn't working, didn't check out. I changed it to 6 and 1, and then I got it to work. So you just got to keep fiddling around. That's where most people get hung up, is right here. And it just takes practice, guys. You just have to do first to both, second to both, a whole bunch of times, keep changing signs and changing numbers until you get it to go back to that five. So now it's right. So now we can go forward. Now, what do we do from here? Well, we have two things multiplying to equal 0. What does that mean logically? It means the first one is 0. Don't need any parentheses anymore. Or the second one is 0. Why? Why? Because if I said to you, hey guys, I'm thinking of two numbers. First number times the second number, I'd call this all one big number, times another number, and it's equaling 0. What does that mean? How did two numbers, what if I said, yeah, I'm thinking of two numbers, they multiply to be 0. That means the first one could be 0, like 0 times 7. That'd be 0. Or the second one could be 0, like 3 times 0, 0. Either one could be 0 to make that happen. If two things are multiplying to equal 0, right? The first one could be 0 or the second one could be 0. Either way, they're going to multiply to be 0. That's what we have here. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. So the first one could be 0 or the second one could be 0 to make them times multiplied to equal 0. That's just logical. All right, let's finish it up from here. Let's jump that minus 6 to the other side. So it'll be 2 cosine w equals plus 6. I really just added 6 to both sides, right? Okay, gonzo. Okay, keep going. Divide by 2. And we get cosine W is 3. All right, so now what do we do from there? Now we go to our calculator because 3 is not on the unit circle. So I'm going to go cosine it because W wants to be alone. Boom, cancel out. That's what'll get W alone. You got to do cosine inverse of both sides. So now take out your calculator and do cosine inverse of 3. Make sure you're in radian mode. So I'll show you the Desmos calculator. Let me go there to the Desmos calculator. There it is. So what was it? Cosine inverse? Yeah. I'll go to functions, cosine inverse of 3. And it was radian mode. What does it say? Undefined. See that? Can't do it. So let's go back here and we'll say no answers from this part. No answers from this part. Now let's go work on the other part. So subtract 1 from both sides. Boom. 2. Cosine W is -1. Divide by 2. Boom. Cosine W is -0.5. All right. Good there. All right. And now, how do we finish this up? Well, where is cosine negative? That's on the unit circle, isn't it? Where is cosine -0.5? I don't think I have a unit circle too handy here. I might have to go get one real quick. Yeah, I don't think I do. Don't think I do. So, I didn't think about that. All right. I'm gonna have to go get one real quick. Let me go to our class. I'm gonna log into our class and get one. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. I didn't realize I didn't have this ready to go. Let's go get one. Go through the overall thing here. Log it in and all. All right. And to our class I go. And to our notes I go. And boom. And there it is. Took a little bit of finagling, but there's the unit circle. All right, let me bring it back. And paste it in right here. All right, there it is, the unit circle. Okay, so now, have you done that? We're saying, where is cosine? Back to this, where is cosine -0.5? Well, you know how it works, right? This is cosine sine, cosine sine, cosine sine, cosine sine. I don't see any cosine -0.5, cosine sine, cosine sine. There it is. Cosine's -0.5 at 2 pi over 3. Keep going. If you keep going, cosine sine, cosine sine, cosine sine, cosine sine, cosine sine, cosine. There it is. Sine. So at 4 pi over 3. So 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. Those are the two places. So W is 2 pi over 3 and 4. But you can just type those in just like that. That's fine. They gave decimal answers. That's okay too. Right. Either way, there's our two answers. But the hardest part of this is the factoring. How did I come up with these two parentheses? The main thing is the check. You have to you just guess, and you check. So I was like 2 times 2 makes 4, front times front makes front, last times last makes last, and then you got to check on the middle. And these signs crisscrossed, but then in the end, you still just had to check it out Just keep foiling it out and see if it really goes back. If it does, you got it right. So there we go.